Uh, Apparently, Keir Starmer has 350,000 fake followers on Twitter. Ben, you're a consultant on marketing, and is this a normal thing to happen? All these fake followers, is that what happens in? I suppose companies do that, but do politicians do this?
Absolutely, they do. The research I've been doing over the past 10 years on this topic bears it out that they did it 10 years ago and they're doing it now more than ever. The numbers are going up exponentially. You can now get 500,000 followers for less than $10,000.
All right, but how does it actually work? Are these like people out there with phones adding followers, or how do they get? How does he get 300,000? I mean, is there someone working overtime on this? What is it, or is it automated? How does it work?
So people build entire factories devoted to this. You can walk into an apartment block in China and you can walk into a room and there are racks built on the wall containing thousands of mobile phones, all connected up to a central network system controlled by a few computers. Those few computers then basically turn this into a botnet, a bot farm, and they create accounts, they do likes, they do shares, they do comments. They've got AI systems running all of this, so it makes people these accounts look like real human beings. It is a very professional industry, and it is globally spanning.
And what does it violate any conditions on Twitter? Is he breaking Twitter's code here?
That's a very tricky question. So the people doing this in terms of creating AI scripted accounts and content are absolutely in contravention of Twitter's terms and conditions. The problem is it's very difficult to ascribe ownership of the action to any individual. So in the case of Keir Starmer, if he has 350,000 dummy accounts, bot accounts following him to artificially inflate his popularity, it might not be him that's bought them. It might be other people. And when you start looking at this as a topic, there's all sorts of rabbit holes you can disappear down. One of them is that those accounts might not actually be there to support him. Those accounts might have been created to follow him and create a cloud around his communications infrastructure to control the impression and the sentiment taken away from what it is that he puts out. So if he does a policy announcement, that cloud can sit there and, depending on who's bought that cloud, can send it in one of many different directions. They can criticize him, they can support him, they can pillar him. It happens a lot.
Wow, so it's much more complicated than I thought. I thought it was just Keir Starmer saying, "Come on, let's get some more accounts going."
But it absolutely happens.
But apparently, Damien from Brighton suggests that because he had a campaign to get people to unfollow Keir Starmer, and he said every time, say, 10,000 unfollow, exactly 10,000 new fake accounts come on. So you can't crack this thing, can you?
No, you can't. It's whack-a-mole. If you squash 5 accounts, another 10 will appear in their place. The API, it's the sort of system integration that Twitter uses for developers, is completely open, and it means that you can spin up in around 3 minutes a bot account if you're scripting it from if you're coding it from complete scratch. If you've got a system that's already in play to do this, you can create tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of accounts at the touch of a button. And the scary part of this is that when you look into the supply chain behind this, about 3 or 4 steps down the line, you've got organized crime in terms of identity fraud, the works. So the people supplying a lot of the fake identities, photographs, information that populate these profiles are stealing other people's identities. And they're using it to populate these dummy accounts that then follow people and amplify their reach and their content.
God. Well, you've made it much clearer to me. It's not, kind of clearer, but it does seem to me that he doesn't have that many followers. We know that. God knows how many his real followers are. How many do you think he really has?
That's a very good question. Looking at the accounts, because I've had a good look through his account, and I would estimate that roughly around 1/3 of the follows that he's got are deeply questionable. I would say another third are in the sort of 50-50 territory, and then 1/3 are probably rock solid. He's a leader of a national opposition, so he's going to have a good following. but I think it speaks to the sheer scale of the problem on social media. You know, the stats I've seen, 10 years ago, it was around 50% of accounts were bots and fake or inactive. These days, it's looking more like around 75%.
Wow.
It's
amazing.
Scary.
Amazing. Thank you, Ben, for coming on. I like your shed. It looks good.